Listeners and viewers, please welcome the host of my guest at this time, Jose Gonzalez.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of My Guest at this time. Jose Gonzalez here. It is the beginning of a fun-filled and jam-packed October here on the channel. So before we even get into anything, make sure that if you're not already subscribed, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe button. It's free. You're going to have at least 4 guaranteed episodes this month. Who knows? I might have other uploads coming up too. Make sure you're giving this a like. Comment below what your predictions are going to be as we get into a very prediction-heavy month. But, I mean, we got WWE Bad Blood this Saturday on Peacock, 6 p.m. Eastern start time. It's a special start time. Almost a matinee for us on, like, the actual East Coast. I love to see it. And I had to bring in the reinforcements for this one. I have not one, not two, but 3 big guests that were all invited, emphasis on invited, to be here tonight. So first, I have the antithesis to my presence on any podcast these days. You know her? Do you love her? We tolerate her. You've seen her on the Pop Break. You've seen her on a Ramble on OLE Podcasts. You've seen her organizing things by letter code at conventions for certain celebrities. The one and only Kimmy Sokol.
You know, tolerate. Do you know that our little Top Golf game has literally become one of the biggest things? Did you realize that, Jose?
And that's just your personality.
And it is. And I'm over, and I'm getting booked more because of it. Because everyone knows that I beat every single person that is before you on this podcast, and I'm going to beat all of them in predictions. So it's going to be 2-0 for me.
Well done, Mama.
Moment in the spotlight. If it's anything like Bound for Glory 2022, it ain't gonna look good.
Are we talking about Bound for Glory 2022?
And to think
No.
I was gonna be nice, Kimmy.
Yeah,
Truly.
Nope.
Like I was like, oh, this is gonna be a fun-filled, just let's go.
I mean, I had to bring in the Bad Blood for Bad Blood, but I mean,
It's
lest
fair.
we forget the other 2 amazing guests making their channel debuts. You see them Thursdays on the Love Wrestling CH YouTube and Twitch streams. They are the madmen behind Between Two Beards. We have JPJ and Pluggo. Gentlemen, welcome to the channel.
Thank you. I'm pumped to
Thank
be
you for
here.
having us.
Yeah, very, very pumped to be
I
here.
was super pumped to be here till Kimmy
Yeah,
started
Until we got
shooting at the
insulted
hip.
immediately. Immediately insulted.
Well, I mean, she's only hip height anyways, so it's okay.
Fair.
This is what we're gonna discuss. My height. That's the only creative
I don't want to
thing
talk
you
about
can come
height.
up with.
I mean,
don't wanna
if we're
talk about
being
height.
honest, your height is taller than your top golf score.
Is it though? Because I beat you. I beat
I don't
you.
think
I
so.
beat
I don't think
Jose.
you beat
Well, I
me.
mean,
I
my
think-
thing is there's only 5 matches on the card. You're 5 foot even. So if
I'm
you have
5
a
foot and
perfect
a half.
score,
Okay, 5
Oh,
foot and a
5
half.
foot and a half.
so even
A
if you go
half.
5-0, it's still gonna be slightly almost your height. It's okay.
By a half an inch.
No.
But who cares?
I
And depending on who you
appreciate
ask,
you,
a lot
Jose,
of people
for
care
having
about
us
half an
on
inch.
Yes.
as an invited guest.
Yes.
It's nice
Agreed.
to be.
I was also an invited guest.
I know I had to clarify that at the top because some people wouldn't believe me, even though you've been here multiple times.
You know, Jose interviewed me at one point on this channel, guys.
Yeah, and then the series went defunct. So
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
That's a shoot.
Shooter's
it's just
gonna
on
shoot,
high
That's
end,
a
baby.
that's
shoot.
all.
That's a shoot, brother.
Remember that interview I did on your channel? Yeah, the close.
The last one that I did on my channel? That one? The last one. Remember that? Anyway.
The one that indirectly launched the side quest to where
Now,
we are now.
I know that
Yeah.
usually you ask the questions, but is that because the interview was so amazing you couldn't do another one, or it's because it was so
Yes.
bad you're like, it's over?
The first one.
I plead the 5th.
Respect.
It
One,
was
2,
obviously
3, 4,
the
5.
first.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
But I mean, on the topic of 3 not being enough, we need 5. We have 5 big matches coming up this Saturday at WWE Bad Blood. I kind of wish it was a little more than that. That's the one thing with these PLEs. I mean, it's nice that they're kind of concise and a lot of things, good time to breathe, but it still feels like there was so much more that could have been on this card that isn't. That's a little disappointing, but hey, you know what? We're going to make the best with what we got. And I think what better way to kick off Bad Blood, rivalries that never seem to be ending, than with the Women's World Championship. We have Liv Morgan. Ooh, let me move that out of your way, gentlemen. Defending the Women's World Championship against Rhea Ripley. And the best part is We're going to also move that here. Can I move it here? No, we'll do it there. Dominic Mysterio is going to be hanging in a shark cage, y'all.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I am
Yeah.
excited to see the chicanery, the tomfoolery, the foolishness, anything that can happen with one Dominic Mysterio being suspended in a steel apparatus. I mean, you know what? JPJ, let's start with you. What are you thinking going into this one?
Oh, all right. So I am very excited about the shark cage element. Very, very excited. We saw on Raw that Rhea said that Dom is claustrophobic and he looks scared and all that stuff. I think I'm leaning towards Rhea getting her victory over Liv and getting the title back. But I'm not 100%. I don't think this is the end of the Judgment Day and Terror Twins thing. I think it's going to continue going on. So I'm a little torn with this, but I am very excited to see Dom just having a miserable time in the shark cage the whole time. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
I mean, I will definitely get in my thoughts on this, but it's funny that you mentioned not the end of the feud between the Terror Twins and the Judgment Day, because I probably will echo those similar sentiments. Pluggo, what are you thinking?
Like I said, I think you're gonna have a lot of repeat thoughts here because it is Rhea getting her win back. Maybe it's tough because I don't think it is the end as much as I don't know what else they could all do if we coupled in Priest and Finn and what happened on Raw, and the Judgment Day still standing tall pretty much over the Terror Twins. It's like, but has anybody ever been in a shark cage that didn't escape? Dom's getting out of that thing somehow, some way. And it's not like, what's Carlito doing? What's JD McDonough doing that day? Are they going to help get Dom out of that thing to secure the win for Liv? I'm thinking so. So I'm going to go with Liv. My heart's always with Rhea, but I just think the numbers game is still, the Terror Twins are only 2 of them, and there's like 17 members of Judgment Day.
Yep.
All right, like 4,
yep.
5, 7, something like that.
Numbers, yes.
Yes, numbers.
Math.
Kimmy is about to judge me here.
Yeah, I mean, the floor recognizes Kimmy Sokol.
I like that.
Damn. Okay. So although I would have rather seen this match in a Hell in a Cell, because I felt like they deserved it, I like that we're kind of leaning into Dom in the shark cage. I think it's funny. We haven't seen it in a while, that step.
No.
So fun. I also do not think this is the end of the feud, and like any good heel, Liv Morgan's going to find another way to help regain or retain her title. And there's another women's wrestler who we haven't seen in a while. She's kind of been out a little while, and I feel like if you were going to have Raquel return and it be something big, it would be here. So I think Raquel is actually going to help Liv retain her title, and I am also going with Liv Morgan.
Is that because, real quick before Jose, is that because like Rhea having the title, we fall into this trap where she's just dominant and there's no one that can beat her right now, so we just keep skirting the line with her until we can't no more? Because that's what I feel like. If we put it on Rhea, then we're just back to square one.
Well, I feel like Liv also, like, where do you go with Liv from here if Rhea wins?
She still goes after Rhea again then, right? It just kind of goes in the...
So we're just in Groundhog Day anyway. So why not just...
have the chase continue a little more?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's difficult. I feel like this is the match that I'm most torn on when it comes to what I think is going to happen on the show. But I'm trying to win this thing. So since the two
Are you also lying naked on the floor since you're so torn?
Oh, great. Natalie and Brilliant. Good stuff. That's a good poll. That's a good poll. I like that. I'm trying to win this thing since you two are staying aligned here, and this is the only one I'm kind of torn on. I'm picking Rhea. Rhea.
I mean, just like SmackDown in 2011 when Michelle McCool retired, I'm all out of faith. I mean, I will say my thing with this match, not to be a cheap plug, but I did also give my predictions over at a Wrestling Gal with Ella J and Auntie Colin. So maybe when you're done watching this, you could watch that. See if anything's changed from my first go around with predictions to now. But the one thing I will say has been that it feels like now more than ever, I feel like you need to solidify that Liv can actually have a decent reign without any sort of like questioning it, because we've seen stop and go before when she beat Ronda with Money in the Bank and then she lost it in like that stupid Extreme Rules match where she passes out and everything. We've seen the stop and go, the tag team stuff. I feel like with this match, it doesn't necessarily have to be a clean finish, but I feel like I don't see her and Rhea going beyond Bad Blood for the title at all anymore. If anything, what I could see happening, and this could be a natural segue into Finn versus Damian, because it kind of echoes what JPJ was talking about, where it's not the end of the Terror Twins versus Judgment Day, but I don't think Rhea's going to get the title back, especially. I feel like something's going to happen. Dom can drop something from the cage. Maybe another member of Judgment Day comes out. I don't think we're going to see Raquel Rodriguez come back in this way. I feel like if anything, it would make more sense for her to challenge Liv, especially because Liv has done like a complete 180 to where she was from when they were tag team champions and when Raquel was injured too. So there could be more story to tell there if we want to actually, you know, let Liv not only wrestle on TV, but also mix it up with women in the division outside of just the Judgment Day stuff going on. So I'm going to say, go ahead.
Say that though is also because with her condition, you never know when it's going to flare up, right? So at Chamber, they thought she was back full time and it flared up that weekend and they were screwed. So with her aligning herself with Liv or somebody, it gives them the safety net of Raquel does not have to be there every week.
I feel like if you're going to have someone cost someone a match and then try to build a story around it, you kind of have to be there every week, even if you're not actively competing, just having a presence. That's going to be the weird thing. If she's healthy, it would be nice to see Raquel go back and have like that big singles push that we really didn't get to see much of, especially because it felt like once Nia came back, it really got floundered on her. But I will say, and still for this one, Liv Morgan, but also to kind of naturally segue into Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. I will figure out these lower thirds eventually. Someone's going to get cut off. If y'all have any complaints, you know who to tweet it to. It's probably going to be at Velvet
Kimmy Sokol.
No, I'll spare Kimmy the complaints this time.
Don't I get enough complaints on my Twitter from other people about other people?
I mean, I just text you my complaints, but that's beside the point. Finn versus Damian Priest. So this is the other half of my theory that I have. I feel like the same way that I don't think that Rhea's going to win clean. I don't think Finn's going to win clean, but he's definitely going to beat Damian because the numbers advantage, especially in the fact that we have 4 other members of Judgment Day that can get involved, because it's going to be, but it doesn't even have to be after the women's world title match. It could just be whenever it happens. You're going to have people pouncing on him from all corners of the ring. Whether Rhea comes out, tries to even the odds or not, will remain to be seen. However, the big thing is that we have not really had any contenders for the world tag titles aside from like New Day, like last week on Raw, which kind of thrown together because New Day's doing their own thing. We don't know if one's going to turn on the other, if they're both going to turn, whatever the hell's going on with that. If anything, with Raw going down to 2 hours, we're getting ready for this Netflix push. They're trying to say that WWE can turn it up a little bit more on Netflix and have to worry so much about being as squeaky clean as they have been on USA. I feel like if you're going to say that Rhea is going to be too big for the women's division, which is kind of the position she's in now, there's no better time to have her and Damian go after the world tag titles than after Bad Blood. I could see it being extremely believable that they could challenge JD and Finn, especially the way that she's already manhandled Carlito. She's already manhandled Dom multiple times, JD, KO. Rhea's been known to throw around the guys without any issue. If it's a matter of about her getting a lick in from the guys, not only can she take it, but I mean it that way. If we're worried about just what advertisers are going to think, it's so much easier to do it on a direct streaming service like a Netflix or like a Peacock. Maybe they do something on Saturday night's main event where they don't have to dance around it so much. But it feels like if you're going to try to wheeze your way back into intergender wrestling for the first time seriously since China, it feels like that's the route to go. Whether they win the titles or not, that will remain to be seen. But I could totally see that kind of being the path that we end up going on. Kimmy, what are your thoughts on Finn versus Damian Priest?
I feel like this feud has been buried with the women's championship scene, and a lot of people forgot that this match was taking place because everybody's focus is on Liv and Rhea, and that should not be how this works. You know, this has been a major feud that's been building since SummerSlam. They're finally, I believe this is their payoff of their one singles match that they've had, and it should be a much bigger deal than everyone's making it out to seem. It sucks. But luckily, both these men know how to put on a good show, so I'm actually picking this as my sleeper match of the night. But since I picked Liv to win the women's match, I'm going to go with the clean sweep, and I'm going to pick Finn Balor to win this one.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be a trend that seems like a lot of heels might be winning on Saturday. I mean, it remains to be seen. Pluggo, what say you?
Has anybody noticed that, like, I know that they were heels for a while, so they probably haven't made many amends, but like, there's no one in the back that likes Damian Priest. He just goes out there and gets absolutely destroyed by 4 other guys, and like not one person's like, maybe we should help this guy out. He's a face now. Kind of bums me out. But yeah, this is going to be a great match. These two, I know that there was hopes on Beard's front for a long time, and JPJ could attest this, that we wanted this for the title at some point if they could have made it work, and it just never happened. So if you want to keep Judgment Day strong, I know that sounds silly, then you got to give it to Finn, but I just don't know if you're going to give Damian this loss. So I'm going to take Damian Priest. I think he's going to get it done. I don't know how, some way he overcomes the odds, and then maybe, like you said, Jose, we'll get that intergender tag team title run. That's what I want.
I like that idea a lot as well, the intergender thing. That would be a lot of fun if they did that correctly. Well, obviously, I picked Rhea to win the title in the last match, so my thought process was that there isn't going to be a clean sweep. I thought that we would get a win on kind of each side. So I'm going with Finn here because this is the first match with Priest and Finn, really their first big match. I expect this to move forward with the feud here, whereas I do expect Liv and Rhea to kind of Liv and Rhea to separate after Saturday. So I'm picking Finn to win this. I really like what we've been seeing out of Finn Balor. He seems rejuvenated now that he seems like the leader of this group. I think this is kind of the main event Finn Balor that we all remember. And I think him getting this win, I think, is better for him because Damian's kind of already there. And I think he'll get his bigger win down the line because I think this is the first of a few. So I'm picking Finn to win.
Yeah,
this.
and I totally agree with the whole like Finn Balor finally being the leader thing because it feels like ever since he ended up joining Judgment Day, he was always second or third fiddle, which is not something you ever want to hear about Finn Balor. I mean, we're talking about someone that was multi-time NXT champion, the first Universal champion, multi-time Intercontinental champion, like a staple in Japan with everything he was doing with the Bullet Club. Like it's crazy to see how he's been tossed to the wayside for so many years, and now he's just now kind of getting his footing again. I mean, this is must win for him, regardless if it's going to be clean or if there's going to be some chicanery. But I mean, it's been a rebuilding year for Finn Balor, and I feel like definitely Damian can take this loss and land back on his feet. I mean, you have the momentum of having that huge cash in at WrestleMania. You had great matches along that World Heavyweight title reign, and I mean, either way, regardless if it got screwed out, I mean, the fact that you lost the title to Gunther, who's probably the most legitimate contender that you could have gone out to, it's not anything that makes you look weak at all.
And Finn is a huge Triple H guy. I know Damian is too, but if you remember, like that was one of his first NXT call-ups, and they gave him a huge push. So I wouldn't be shocked if, like you said, they gave him an opportunity to win this thing. But I love me some Damian Priest, and it's hard to pick against him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited either way because I feel like regardless of the outcomes that we're going to see Saturday, it should still be entertaining. I would be totally surprised if there's anything that's going to be a stinker on the card.
Maybe R-Truth comes back and helps out now that he's freed up from Miz.
That's true. You know, he technically still is in the Judgment Day.
And now all three of them no longer have championships, so it's going to be interesting to see how they pose now.
Yeah.
I mean, no championships, no partners. I mean, if there's ever a time to get R-Truth and make him a terror triplet, why not?
Let's do it.
Wouldn't that be full circle moment? He comes out and helps fight off the Judgment Day after Priest was sick of him during his whole run in the Judgment Day.
And then they just had a nice little moment. That would be great.
And they just hug it out at the end.
Great. Yes.
And also Truth would get a nice pop in Atlanta too. I mean, it'd be nice to have like a lot more diversity on the card too, because I mean, something that we can kind of talk about briefly is just Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill not defending the titles on the show, being the hosts instead. I know there's been a lot of conversations about not that much even representation on the card for this PLE, just especially with the fact that there's no black superstars being pushed on the actual card for the PLE. We are going to see Carmella on SmackDown. We're going to see Michin on SmackDown. A lot of stuff we've been seeing also going on Raw. So, I mean, hopefully we can get to somewhere where we could actually like really not only maximize on trying to have the best matches on the PLE, but also making sure that everybody can see a little bit of themselves in the card too.
For sure. And we know that hosting gig it's never, they'll probably come out at the beginning, maybe in the middle. That's about it. Unless they decide to do something old school and they have an impromptu match, but that's not been their vibe over the last like year and a half or so.
Yeah.
So
I'd much rather be seeing them defend the titles on this show on Saturday. But I think, I'm glad they're going to be on the show, rather than not at all, but I'd much rather be seeing them defend the titles.
Yeah, and especially now that we know the Damage Control. I mean, Io had that banger of a match with Bianca Belair on Raw. That secured them a tag title opportunity. We don't know when that's going to be. We're recording this literally right after NXT debuted on the CW, which was a great episode, by the way. They're going to be in 6-woman tag team action coming up next week when they're in St. Louis, teaming with Kalani Jordan against Fatal Influence. So they're definitely going to have a busy schedule. It would have been nice to see maybe that Damage Control match happen on this card, but to each their own. But thankfully, not the only women's match that we got earlier with Rhea and Liv Morgan. We also have a SummerSlam rematch on the show where Nia Jax is going to defend the WWE Women's Championship against Bayley after Bayley defeated Naomi on SmackDown to become the #1 contender after they had that tornado tag where we had the double pin where it was kind of paint by numbers that there's going to be a double pin to kind of set up, okay, how are we actually going to figure out who gets the title match? So the interesting things is that seems like it's not so much that Bayley and Naomi are on the rocks, just because it seems like they have that element of sportsmanship on top of them just knowing each other for years, because Naomi's still gunning for, okay, Bayley wins, I want that first title match, and then Bayley trying to just be confident, get the title back. You also have the X factor of not only Tiffany Stratton being Miss Money in the Bank and being able to cash in whenever she wants, it's also the fact that she literally got called out by Nia Jax, grabbed by her throat, or as Twitter called it, Jennifer Lopez threatening Sabrina Carpenter. So it's going to be interesting to see the elements that could be at play in this match, just because they both have allies, they both have enemies. I'm curious to see if this is going to be a better match than SummerSlam was, because I was very much impressed with how the SummerSlam match went. I was surprised just with how much stuff they're both pulling out. I thought that was the best Bayley's looked, even almost better than WrestleMania. It was definitely the best Nia Jax's look since coming back. Pluggo, why don't you start this one?
Oh, no. Okay. Yeah. No, don't start with me. This is a tough one to pick. I'm actually surprised that this is not a triple threat with Naomi involved. I really thought you had an opportunity to put her involved in this match because, again, she comes up short. And sure, she says she's gonna get the first shot if Bayley wins. I don't think Bayley's winning though. I think Nia Jax is keeping that. I think the story is Tiffany and Nia, and I think. Because I look at that SmackDown roster and I just don't know if there was anybody else really ready to go. So it's like, yeah, Bayley, it makes sense. You can get a good match out of these two. There's a good story there. She's going to get a huge pop. But at the end of the day, I think Nia retains. And I think the X Factor, like you said, is Tiffany. Do we see a cash in? I'm going to say no, but I'm going to say there was at least an attempt. There'll be an attempt. There'll be that classic, like, are you sure? And then she'll get like kicked in the face or something. Kind of Austin Theory style.
Yeah, I mean, we did kind of see like a couple different almost attempts. I mean, we saw her at SummerSlam. We saw her the SmackDown before Bash in Berlin. So I'm sure that Tiffany's going to make her presence known. It's whether she follows through with it or if maybe Naomi can stop her on the way in. If Nia stops her, who's to say for certain? Kimmy, what are you thinking?
So obviously we talk about the tension that is starting between Tiffany and Nia. That's the bigger story here. I actually would have rather seen Naomi get this title shot than Bayley.
I 100% agree.
Just because A, she deserves it. B, do we really need Bayley hanging around the title scene for longer? Like, I understand, like, maybe there's nothing for her to do, but, like, I'm over it already. Like, I don't need her here anymore.
Whoa.
I mean, you could be building other stars. Why can't Mia Yim, Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, like all these other people on the SmackDown roster get a chance? Because this is all we've seen in SummerSlam. Yeah, her too.
Yeah, it's 'cause-
Indy.
yeah, for sure.
Like
Yeah.
I don't.
But that's what it's just it's an easy layup instead of going out on a limb. They should absolutely do that. But I
So-
mean, maybe Naomi's gonna turn. Who knows?
Maybe.
Good.
So I think Nia will get the win here, and Tiffany's gonna be reluctant, but she's gonna help Nia win. To kind of be like, oh my god, I'm making it up to you. We could be friends again. But then you're gonna see like her really eyeing that title out of the corner of her eye. And like that's how it's all gonna go down. And then I think either at the Rumble or later or maybe Saturday's night main event is gonna be where Tiffy cashes in.
Interesting.
Okay.
JPJ, what are you thinking?
Well, first and foremost, with the Nia and Tiffany, what a segment that was on SmackDown. They went in a completely different way than I thought they were going to go with this story, but I really dig that, and I think they can stretch that out and kind of dig further into that of Nia just being really terrible, and then by the time Tiffany cashes in, she's a mega baby fat. Like that, the way they're doing this story, very, very good. But I agree. I think Nia Jax is going to retain. I do think Tiffany is going to help her retain. But she will, yeah, kind of what Kimmy said. She will kind of question it before she does it. But I think in the end, she's going to help because I do think they're going to stretch that kind of mean girl, bully, almost abusive type relationship with Nia and Tiffany. I think they're going to stretch that out some more to really get sympathy for Tiffany, because that is the story. That is the moment when she cashes in on Nia down the line. But I have Nia retaining. I think this match should be as good, if not maybe a little better than the SummerSlam match. And I agree with what you said, Jose, about that match. I loved that match at SummerSlam. I thought it was great. I expect this to be as good. But yeah, Nia retains.
Yeah, no, I think we all agree that Nia's probably going to retain. On the Naomi topic, because Kimmy did bring up how I feel like organically it could have been Naomi's time to actually get a singles match on a PLE, something that she hasn't had since, I believe it was Super Showdown 2020. The last time she was in a singles match for a championship, ironically against Bayley at the time. We did see her in that triple threat match when they were in France earlier this year for Backlash. But I mean, it's just kind of crazy to think the run that she was on in TNA last year, where she won the Knockouts title, she was having banger after banger match with the likes of Deonna Purrazzo, Giselle Shaw, Jordan Grace, Alicia Edwards, like Naomi, Mickie James. Naomi was really proving like beyond just WWE style and like what people might have known her for the better part of a decade. She can go when she actually gets a chance to go. She expanded on her moveset. We've got to see glimpses of it when she's able to over here in the WWE, at least this run. It just feels like there's been a lot of stop and go of her for whatever reason. And it also kind of echoes the big overwhelming thought that everybody seems to have, where it's just like you have so many women on both shows and only one title picture. Yeah, we have the speed tournament going on. Yeah, it's something for Twitter. It's nice. It technically is another title, but it's not something that's going to be carried over to Raw or SmackDown. I mean, if NXT is finally able to double down and have like their secondary singles title for the women's division, we're seeing like how it's already been like a hot like topic for the division, because you have so many people that are credible to go against the likes of a Kalani Jordan, where you also have the people that are very credible to go against Roxanne Perez. I think now more than ever is a time where you want to start talking about a women's intercontinental title or women's United States title or whatever you want to call it for the main roster, and really let women like a Naomi, Mean Shin, Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, Candice LeRae, Lyra Valkyria, you have Natalia, so many women that could be doing so many other things that aren't getting a chance to outside of either, okay, let's make them a tag team, or they're just going to be doing side stuff here and there for 3-minute matches and then not really getting much outside of the major players. So I mean, who's to say that by next year there won't be an opportunity for another title? I really hope there is, but for the meantime, it's still going to be Nia. I do think Tiffany's going to come out, whether she actually fully interferes or not, that'll remain to be seen, but it feels like now more than ever, keep the title on Nia. She's doing the best work of her entire career. I mean, you don't want to just stop that out of nowhere, especially when you just had Bayley have her huge reign. Well, not a huge reign, but a major character defining reign from WrestleMania after that Royal Rumble win and everything as well. So
listen, if Ring of Honor can have a secondary women's title, there is no excuse why any company does not have one. And that is the truth.
Fair.
I think it's also the problem that, on other companies, the world champion appears on TV every week.
You could tune into Honor Ramble every Thursday to hear me talk about that.
Yeah.
Could.
I mean, what do we go with next? I mean, on the topic of honor, we can talk about a match that has a former Ring of Honor world champion in it. And we're technically have 2 matches that can go either way. Let's start with...
Well, technically 2 of the matches. Cody's also a former Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion.
This is true. You know what? You said his name. He's going to appear. Sorry, Joe Hendry. We have a tag team match. We have the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu going against the OTC, the original Tribal Chief, and Roman Reigns, and the undisputed WWE Champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And a match that not many people really wanted to see, but they've really made something out of the build with it, where it just has this aura, this presentation they've been doing to really kind of get Roman and Cody on the same page over a common enemy, which is crazy to see considering how things have played out since SummerSlam, and the fact that it seems like Solo Sikoa has really floundered since this whole part of the Bloodline began. Honestly, I could say things kind of weren't going his way after he beat John Cena last year at a Crown Jewel, and nothing came of it. Beating John Cena clean in a major PLE, and what do you have to show for it? You lost here, you lost there. Oh, okay, we're gonna take out Paul Heyman. You lost your big title match at SummerSlam. Like, I don't get what they're doing with Solo Sikoa. I mean, if anything, this is Roman and Cody's match to lose. I feel like regardless if you have Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa on the outside, because they're going to be defending the titles the night before in SmackDown in the ladder match anyways, regardless of any sort of stipulation, you can turn this into Bloodline rules. You can make it a tornado tag. You can make it a tag elimination match. It feels like if there was ever a time for Roman and Cody to get the win, it's going to be this match here. That's just my 2 cents. What do I know? I just watched the product. JPJ, on to you.
I'm thinking the other way here. I go, okay. So, all right. Cody, after this match, Cody needs to, that's it. No more Bloodline with Cody. So they need to figure out a way to get Roman over here dealing with the Bloodline and Cody over here dealing with Randy and KO. This should be the end of Cody dealing with the Bloodline. We'll get the Roman and Cody thing down the line, but we'll get there. That's what should go here. I think, to even the odds, I think we're going to see Randy and KO in this match, and I think there's going to be a miscommunication between Roman and Cody of some sorts, and I think Jacob Fatu is going to pin Cody Rhodes to win this match.
Oh, wow.
That's what I think.
Ooh. Gee, that's what I'm afraid of. You're going to have Cody lose on a PLE twice in the same year.
I think that's what's going to happen, because then they're clearly building to Roman versus Jacob one-on-one at some point. It's going to be, they're building to that big time. They haven't, that's what they're getting to. If Jacob Fatu pins Cody, yes, I understand that. People could say, well, title match for Jacob Fatu. I get it. But I think it's going to be because of KO and Rand. There's going to be something that goes on, because that's just where I'm leaning. But again, it's Cody's hometown. It's Roman and Cody. I mean, it's hard to not pick them to win this match. I'm just, I'm leaning towards the Bloodline.
You know what?
Specifically for Jacob Fatu.
Okay. Let's play devil's advocate here, because I feel like the only way I could see Cody and Roman losing is Roman taking the pin from Solo.
Fair.
Which could be something that extends whatever they have going on for who's the real tribal chief and everything. It doesn't have to be clean as all hell, because Lord knows it ain't going to be. It's a Bloodline match. But I mean, I feel like Jacob Fatu, you don't want to press the button too soon, because he's already like as close to the top as you can get. The only way you can go from there is down. And we've seen Solo go down, and he's really struggled to find his footing. If anything, him pinning Roman might get him that footing again, if you want to go that route, because that could also lead into building something for Crown Jewel, for War Games, whatever you want to have coming up after that. Pluggo, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm kind of done, like JPJ said, with Cody and the Bloodline. I think what they're doing, though, it's well presented. I loved that promo vignette thing they did at Georgia Tech. I thought that was really well done. I thought that was really cool. But like Cody's whole reign is like, I take on the Judgment Day with my super friends, and I'm going to take on the Bloodline, and We just spent 2 years telling me how Roman's a bad dude. He's like, you know what? I'm in. Let's do this. And it's just like, I just want it to end. But I think the match will be fine. Roman's got to turn on Cody, right?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Not yet.
I
don't
don't
know.
know, but there's got to come. Roman's not playing second fiddle to Cody Rhodes just for the sake of beating Solo Sikoa, right? There's got to be an ulterior motive in his mind. Will it happen here? Will there be a miscommunication? 100%. I think there will be.
Again,
But I think ultimately Cody and Roman win, but there's going to be something between the two of them that we're going to get this match sooner than later.
I will say, again, to play devil's advocate, we saw Cody talking to Nick Aldis backstage saying after this, I'm done. Like, I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, but the next hour he goes, I'm in.
But I'm thinking it could be something where, like, maybe like there's a miscommunication. Roman bumps into Cody. Maybe Cody's like, you know what, screw it, and leaves him. That doesn't necessarily make Cody a heel. It's just him finally being done with playing second fiddle to all these stable wars that he's been in for 2 years.
Yeah, and that's my thought process too when it comes to like why I was thinking the way I'm thinking is because clearly they still need to have the friction. In that Georgia Tech thing, the last thing Roman said was, "You're in my way in life." That's what he said. So clearly they're coming out of this, win or lose, there needs to be friction there still between, because I would think that might be the Rumble main event is them two. They're going to fight at some point.
Family wins out and they're all back
together.
The
bloodline and the Uafala is more. Cody is second fiddle to that in Roman's mind. That is the most important thing. So I think he's got to deal with that business first before he gets to Cody. So I think, I don't know. They got to kind of.
Can I just ask, how does it look at the Samoan family get-togethers that
I don't want to know how it looks.
That Roman needed help from Cody Rhodes to take care of family business? Not very tribal chief of you. Not very head of the table, Roman.
I'm sure Rikishi will talk about it on a podcast.
I'm sure he will. He'll tweet about it 100%.
I mean, Rikishi was at a con I went to this past June in Buffalo. I know who else was there. Kimmy Sokol. Kimmy, what are your thoughts?
So now my brain cannot handle what is happening. Because my brain went somewhere else. All right, so first of all, I picked Cody and Roman because you can't have Roman lose his first match back. No matter if he's taking the pin or not, that kind of kills the momentum of him coming back. And also, we're in Cody's hometown. Cody's getting the special entrance. The UAPB band is playing him to the ring, which I also think he's going to win. But I think Kevin and Randy are going to even the odds, and then at the end, while Roman and Reigns are celebrating, Owens is going to turn heel. And that's how we close the show, is that Owens is going to attack Cody and Roman and Randy, and he's going to like take the title and like raise it above his head and be like, I'm coming after you. We're throwing friendship out the window now. That's where I went.
Okay. But I think when it comes to the Cody, KO, and Randy thing, I think Randy and KO are both going to turn on Cody because Randy's the master. Randy's the puppeteer right now. Yeah. What I saw on SmackDown is Randy just going, okay, I'm going to put you here. You're going to get angry here. And then at the end, I'm going to get what I want, which is the title. Like, I think they're both going to turn, but you have KO turning even on Randy in your scenario.
So here's my
your
thing
way, I have Kevin going first before Randy.
And who's debuting, by the way? There's got to be another Bloodline member coming down the line.
I mean, Hikaleo's going to NXT, so...
I'm going to say they're going to even up the odds. They're going to have, finally, after so long, some women's representation. Tamina Snuka is going to come back and join the Bloodline.
Nice.
Ooh.
I would be okay with that. I would be more than okay with that. More than okay.
Yeah. No, but I mean, in all seriousness, I do think Kevin Owens is probably be the first to turn, and then you save a Randy heel turn for probably SmackDown, if not something around Survivor Series, depending on whatever the hell they want to do with the War Games match for SmackDown, because that's going to be a pain in the ass to figure out. Are we going to finally do Bloodline Civil War, or are we going to try to get people to like volunteer or Hunger Games to team up with Roman against the Bloodline? I don't fucking know. They got I mean, after this, I mean, we do have the Saudi show, but we have what 6-7 weeks to build up Survivor Series.
Yep. I think it's 7.
Yeah,
and then
I
you
mean,
also have. I think they want to plan a big main event for Saturday night main event.
yeah, that's
So
going to
you
be
could
a
always
couple weeks
do.
after. So
Yeah, so you could always do something big there. Like maybe that's where they do Jacob and Cody. Kind of try to sell out Nassau Coliseum in Long
Maybe.
Island.
I don't know if we're going to see Jacob challenge for the title this year. I feel it could be next year. Oh, it's complicated.
We are boring Jose with our hot takes.
I know.
today.
I thought my Kevin Owens thing
No,
was gonna
this is
be
what
so...
happens when you work a shoot job, getting up at 7 a.m. and it's already almost 11 p.m. It's been a long day.
That's true.
But you know what's been even longer than my day is this freaking feud that we have going on between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. They're finally going to settle it once and for all in no better place than inside Hell in a Cell. I mean, talk about a match that's just fitting for a feud. It's nice seeing it not be the annual stipulation pay-per-view like it used to be. It actually means something. And just like we've been seeing either on Raw or at SummerSlam or wherever they've faced off, we're finally going to have a Hell in a Cell match for the first time in 15 years where someone's going to get busted open.
Oh, yeah.
And actually have some bad blood spilled at Bad Blood. So I'm excited for this one. I think this is going to be match of the night.
Get busted open on purpose because didn't
Yes.
Finn get busted up on accident with Edge?
Oh yeah, and they
The
had to stop the
14
match
the four-
halfway through.
The 14
True.
staples, yeah. Because
I
14
deliberately,
staples shirt. Yes.
That is a
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah,
So.
thank you. I do that every once in a while.
Good job, Pluggo.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
I mean, regardless,
I'll be here all week.
Yes. Remember, Love Wrestling CA Thursdays. I mean, regardless of how this match is going to end, I feel like this has to be where we at least put a bookmark in Drew and Punk. Whether it's the complete end or not remains to be seen. I will expand upon my thoughts at the end. Kimmy, you start this one.
So I think this should be the main event, regardless of what they're gonna, whether it be Cody, Punk, whatever. I think this should be the one because it is the only Hell in a Cell match on the card. Obviously, the October pay-per-view has always really been Hell in a Cell themed. Go on gimmick, let it main event. It probably won't, sadly, because we're not in the 9th inning of the Bloodline storyline. That's why it's not going to main event because we're not in the 9th inning yet. We're probably on inning number 5, and we're all just like,
yeah, we're not
why
even
are
at the
we still
7th inning
going?
stretch.
No.
I know. What the hell are we doing here? So just like we all said in this match, you're gonna get everything: blood, tables, thumbtacks, chairs, kendo sticks, and probably a bunch of other crap that I can't even think of at the time. Maybe we'll get real glass. Who knows? And then people are gonna say that we gotta cry you a river. Who knows? But
oh no.
Since this is the rubber match, Punk has to get the win, and he's going to move on to where he should be, which is the World Heavyweight Championship scene. So I am picking CM Punk.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, JPJ.
He cut that promo a little while ago saying he was going towards Gunther, and that's where he wanted to go. I want Drew McIntyre to win. That's what I want to happen. But CM Punk is going to win. But I think both men are going to violently beat the crap out of each other. They're both going to bleed. I loved the segment on Raw with Drew in the all black and Punk in the all white. I loved the contrast. I thought it was very cool. And yeah, I expect this to be violent, bloody, just a massacre. They're the two right people to be in this match. But yeah, I think CM Punk's going to end. And I don't think this is the end of them forever, but it's the end of them for a while. And I think CM Punk is going to be the guy that ends the feud for now with the victory. And like Kimmy said, he's going up towards the title.
All right, Pluggo, what are you thinking?
Well, Drew re-signed, so he doesn't have to win now. They don't have to dangle that carrot. He can just like back to your losing ways, Drew. No, this was a feud that, to their credit, they kept it going for as long as they did, given both guys were injured. So that's why it feels like it's forever. I would have perfectly ended this probably at SummerSlam, but if you're gonna do this, this is the way to do it. I think, CM Punk has to come out on top of this thing. You got to do it. You have to have him win. Keep it going. He's white hot right now. He's, by all reports that I've seen or heard, he's having he's in a really good headspace. He's doing all the right things backstage. He's being the company guy. So go for it. The only thing I ask is that if we ended here at Hell in a Cell, just so you say, at Bad Blood, I don't want to see them in a tag team taking down some other foes. Like I want them to be. I want all the things that they have said to me in the last 6 to 8 months to be true, and they absolutely despise each other on storylines. So don't put them in a tag team after this, please.
Yeah, no, let rivals stay rivals. Let foes stay foes.
Yeah.
So when I first was giving predictions on Ella's show, which again, if you haven't seen that, go watch that one. It's another great prediction show. But I went in thinking one thing about how the finish of the match could go compared to how Ella mentioned it, and it kind of stuck with me. So originally, I thought Punk was going to win. I thought for damn sure Punk was going to win. It's going to be some sort of big move that finally sets up the finish, whether it's going to be Drew getting hit in the head with a chair, whether it's going to be Punk hitting a pile driver before the GTS, just like something to solidify, like, no, like I'm going to stoop through to new lows that we haven't seen in quite some time in WWE to finish you off once and for all. I totally thought that, and he's going to stand over him victorious. Ella brought up a great point where it's not so much the Punk needs to win the match to still have that kind of moment. Drew can get the win. Maybe like they have like some sort of like crazy double down, and then he just drapes his arm over, and that's going to be the decisive moment of the match. So Drew can win the match that way, but post match is going to be when like Punk finally gets his big shot and he stands tall. And she was saying that Drew can get stretchered out. That could give him some time off of TV or whatever, too. So I could see it going that way if you still want Punk to have the moment, even though you want to have Drew get the win. But honestly, the fact that Punk's only won one match on TV since coming back, I feel like he needs to win absolutely the most. And especially if you want to build him into the world heavyweight title picture, he's got to win. So I'm going to say CM Punk. Yeah. So, I mean, we've seen just how low both of them are willing to go. I'm excited for it. The one thing I will say is I know it ain't going to happen because it's not a Scotland show, but God damn it, I want Broken Dreams.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Is there, by the way, there ain't no way that Drew CM Punk spent 4 weeks at a hotel away from his wife.
Oh God, no.
No.
When he said that on Monday, I was like, I know what you're doing, but come on, man. Nobody believes you.
No, it's very old school for that level of storytelling. It feels like when they would lock people in a dark room without anything for 24 hours before Monsters Ball.
Yeah.
Like very much that energy. But
are you telling me, CM Punk, that you were so angry at Drew McIntyre that you were taking it out on your wife and she kicked you to a hotel for a month? Come on, man.
Hey, remember his wife kissed him and put him through a table before, so who's to say?
That is true.
That is true.
That is true.
On television.
Such a fun story though they're telling. I love it.
God, it. I will say, as concise as this card is, it does feel like it's going to be another entertaining one. Which has kind of been a recurring theme with the WWE PLEs this year. I feel like each card has really stood on its own merit, and it's been fun to watch and see how things unfold. Which, reminder, 6 p.m. start time Eastern on Peacock. It's not on Netflix yet. It's not going to be on Netflix till 2026, so don't get used to it. But I am excited for this. I want to see how everything plays out. And then in the meantime, I also want to see where I could find some of my lovely guests. JPJ, why don't you start?
Yeah, you can find me at JPJ Loves Gaming on all social media platforms. I'm sure Pluggo is going to say it, but Thursday nights, 8 p.m., youtube.com/lovewrestlingca and all socials, Between Two Beards with this guy. And then on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings with my friend Drew Nicholas, I do a show called Firmly Love Wrestling. We talk WWE on Tuesdays and AEW on Thursdays. So those are the things that I do. Plus I'm streaming on Twitch most days of the week, playing some sorts of games and things like that.
Very nice. Very nice. Pluggo, anything you got to Pluggo?
Well, you can find me at Pluggo _ like it says right there on Twitter, at Pluggo on all other social media platforms. Just go to there. You'll see I got some stuff going on. And then Saturday mornings or Sundays, depending on how it goes, I do an independent wrestling show on Love Wrestling called For Exposure with my buddy Blair Pacheco of the Grainmaker Podcast. So go check that out. That's a lot of fun. And then, like he said, at B2Beards on all social media to stay up to date with what we've got going on. I don't know when this is coming out, but we do have a guest this Thursday night, Dan Brown. He's a comedian who likes wrestling, so that'll be an interesting thing. I hit him up and said, hey, do you want to talk wrestling? And he was like, absolutely. So we'll see at that. We're going to cross over some things.
Very nice, very nice. And then to the woman that is everywhere and nowhere at the same time, Kimmy, what the hell do you have going on?
Nowhere. Do you know this
That's
month?
A compliment.
I know. It's New York City Comic-Con month, Jose.
Oh, God.
And guess who's working all 4 days?
So guess who's going to be needing some espresso martinis after each day?
Yo, wait, JPJ can attest. I usually have a rule where I don't drink before a con.
New
You didn't say
Hampshire made
anything
her
about
drink.
during.
New
You notice she
Hampshire
said
made her drink.
usually.
Then she got to New Hampshire and was like, "Where the hell am I?" And it made her drink.
I texted JPJ. I'm like, listen, we gotta go somewhere for drinks. I gotta explain.
Literally. She
But
was
also,
like,
I mean, New
alcohol needs to
Hampshire
be
versus
involved.
New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm used to New York City Comic Con. I've worked it last year. But yeah, so if you're going any of the 4 days, I can't announce my guest because New York City Comic Con didn't announce our guest yet. And I kind of want to like put it out there in case I'm not allowed to, but I'll be there. And I feel like if you follow my social media, you can tell who my guests are. So you can follow me on Twitter at Kimmy_Sokol. You can follow me on Instagram at Kimmy.Sokol. You could read my Bad Blood predictions and a bunch of other crap I've written over at the Pop Break. You could read my Ring of Honor reviews weekly on PW Insider. You could watch me ramble about Ring of Honor with my co-host Collins every Thursday night at 10:15 Eastern after Between Two Beards over on OLE Podcast. We never talk about Ring of Honor. It is just me complaining about my everyday life because Ring of Honor is killing me. And yeah, November's a very busy month. We got big event. We got WrestleCade. Big WrestleCade. Dennis Rodman, Sting, Mick Foley, over probably 100 to 150 talent. We got like there's like shows, there's independent wrestling shows, there's stand-up podcasts, and so much more. Head to WrestleCade.com and get your
TNA.
tickets. They just even gave a third hotel. They have never in the history of WrestleCade has given 3 hotels for this show. That's how big this show is going to be. So if you're not doing anything Thanksgiving weekend, head to Winston-Salem. You're not going to regret it. And thank you so much, Jose, for putting our differences aside and letting me spread my spotlight with all my friends to be here on your show.
Yep, there's a time and a place for everything, as we've learned. Speaking of time and place, the place is at Jose in the Air everywhere. So whether it's going to be on YouTube, on Twitch, on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Threads, I'm trying to get back into Threads. It ain't looking good, y'all. So maybe not Threads, but also shopjoseintheair.com has all the merch that you want, whether it's a t-shirt, whether it's a nice ass coffee mug like this one, mouse pads, stickers, hoodies, whatever have you. That's the place to go. Support the channel. Help your favorite wannabe media person in wrestling actually become more of a media person in wrestling, believe it or not. It's been a fluke year, but it's been a good year. But anyways, we have so many other things coming up on the channel. I mean, we have Wrestle Dream predictions next week with Emily J and Emily May Heller. We have TNA Bound for Glory predictions the Monday, the following week after that at Fries and Ashley Pizarro from OLE. We have at the end of that week NXT Halloween Havoc predictions with Low of Wrestling Wind-Down. And it's me. Chances are I'm going to be streaming some sort of a video game on Twitch, whether it's going to be Fall Guys, whether it's going to be Valorant, who the hell knows. Honestly, just keep an eye on Twitter. I don't have a schedule. I just show up to things when I can. It's going to be a fun month. I'm excited for everything that's to come, and I hope you guys are here for the ride. So until next week, I will see you guys then. Have a good one.